All right, welcome everyone to AI Copilot in Action, faster workflows for SMB teams. I'm Rosie from E27, and I'm going to be your host for today. E27 is Asia's premier tech media platform that provides entrepreneurs with relevant tools and resources to build and scale their companies in the tech ecosystem. Together with Lenovo, AMD, and Microsoft, we have a great program lined up. We'll uncover how AI is reshaping productivity, collaboration, and efficiency for small and mid sized businesses across devices and the cloud. So again, a few reminders for our audience. You can drop your questions anytime in the chat. We'll answer them during the Q&A. And you can let us know who you are, rename yourself with your name and company. You can even drop a comment if you want to tell us where you're watching this from. And please keep your microphones on mute during this session. Now, before we dive in, here's a quick look at today's flow. So we'll begin with an opening remarks from Lenovo, followed by thought leadership sessions from Microsoft and AMD. Then we'll move into our panel discussion and Q&A and wrap up with a short networking session with the Lenovo team. I know you're looking forward to that one. So to officially open today's session, please join me in welcoming Madeline from Lenovo.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us today. I'm really excited to see so many of us on a call. Whether you're running your own business, leading a growing team, or just curious about how AI can make work a little easier, I feel that you're exactly in the right place. My name is Madeline, and I lead the marketing for Lenovo Pro across the region, and I'm based in Singapore. And I've got to say, this is a topic that's especially close to our hearts at Lenovo because helping businesses like yours grow smarter and faster is what Lenovo Pro is all about. Before we dive in, a big shout out to our amazing partners who made today possible, AMD, Microsoft, and also E27 for coordinating this whole event. Together, we share one goal, right? Basically, we want to empower SMBs to do more, create more, and achieve more through the power of innovation and smarter technology. We have a great lineup today. Joining this call, we have our friends from AMD, Microsoft, and we have guests from the E27 community as well, who will be sharing insights on how AI is transforming the way that we work every day. To be frank, running a business today is really not easy. We're juggling multiple roles. We have many deadlines and high expectations, and everyone is talking about doing more with less. And that is where AI steps in, not as a buzzword, but we do believe that it's a true co-pilot. And this is where we hope Lenovo Pro solutions can come in to help. We want to make it easy for SMBs to harness this potential and make everyday business streams run more fast and more efficient. With AI-ready Lenovo devices powered by AMD Ryzen Pro processors and also Microsoft Copilot, we're helping businesses like yours simplify IT, boost productivity, and get the most out of your everyday work. So today's session is basically seeing all that in action and how AI can fit into your workflows. So as you listen to our panel and get through the slides, think about the possibilities for your business where AI could actually help you to save time, improve your decision-making process, or even spark new ideas for you. So once again, thank you so much for being here, taking time out of your busy day, and a huge thank you to the team for making this partnership and collaboration possible. Rosie, back over to you.
All right, thank you, Madeline. So doing more with less is something I'm sure that many SMBs are really wondering about. So now let's kick things off with Mitch Smith from Microsoft to share a bit more about what the Copilot advantage is.
Thank you, Rosie. Just let me know when you can see my screen and my slides. Hopefully, I'm coming all the way from Australia, so it might be taking a second to load.
Yes, we see your screen.
Oh, Thank goodness, I was getting a little nervous there. That's good to know. Well, as Madeline said, thank you so much for joining. I understand the pressures of running your own business, and dedicating some time to this is really greatly appreciated. Yes, as Rosie said, my name is Mitch Smith. I am the Windows Commercial Solutions Specialist for Microsoft Asia, based here in Australia, in Sydney. My job is to work with customers and reseller partners and device manufacturers. And essentially, I have one goal, and that's to help everyone get the maximum value they can out of Windows. Today, I'm going to cover some strategies to ensure your end users are not only at their most productive, but their devices aren't an easy way in for cyber criminals. I'll also show you how you can make smart device purchasing decisions to ensure your business can unlock real value from AI today and into the future. Hopefully, this date on the screen should be fairly familiar to you all. If we're playing along at home, there's no prizes here, but that's right, it is the end of support date for Windows 10. So this is the date that Windows 10 went end of support globally. Obviously, Windows 10 PCs still function, but Microsoft is no longer providing technical support for Windows 10, nor are we sending out any security or bug fixes for Windows 10 moving forward. So it's very likely then that some of you out there are running an operating system in your business that is now no longer supported. Microsoft, we release a new version of our Windows operating system in the second half of every calendar year. And our commitment is to support that version for 3 years for the enterprise editions and 2 years for Pro. So it's important to know that it's not just Windows 10 that went end of support in October. Some older versions of Windows 11 are now unsupported and vulnerable as well. To put this another way, you'll need to be either on Windows 11 23H2 Enterprise or 24H2 edition and later to be on a supported operating system today. And if you choose to continue using an unsupported operating system, here are the risks that we see. The first and obvious, maybe the most obvious risk is that around security. So any new vulnerabilities found will not be broadly patched by Microsoft. Cyber criminals will continue and potentially even increase targeting of Windows 10, which could potentially lead to security issues, exposing systems, applications, network, and more significantly, result in data theft. Some of the maybe other or lesser known issues for customers who choose to stay on an unsupported operating system could be things like compliance violations. Many industries like healthcare and finance, they have specific regulations around IT systems, and an unsupported operating system could actually be in breach of some of those regulations. Loss of insurance cover. This is relatively unknown as well. An unsupported operating system will probably result in your cybersecurity insurance policy becoming invalid. And then lastly, contractual obligations. So an unsupported system in your supply chain can create vulnerabilities that affect your entire partner network. A third-party breach from poor technology standards could be considered a breach of contract in many situations. I'm sure you're all aware that cybercrime is growing at incredible speeds. We're constantly seeing headlines around high-profile breaches. There's probably two things that are really concerning to me. One is the volume of breaches in smaller companies that never hit the news. And then the second is the level of sophistication behind these incidents. Attackers are no longer breaking through firewalls or exploiting network flaws. They're using logins. They're using stolen credentials just to simply log in. This sophistication is playing out in real-world breaches, significantly impacting small to medium businesses or SMBs across Asia. Let's take a look at some of the things that the analysts are saying about this very thing. So the first one here on the screen is Verizon. They have a data breach investigations report, and it analyzes over 30,000 security incidents and 10,000 confirmed data breaches each year. This year's report found that malware is now present in 83% of breaches across our region, up from 58% last year, showing just how quickly attackers are scaling their reach through phishing and credential theft. Then you look at Interpol. So they now call phishing the leading form of cybercrime worldwide. And it's not just about fake emails, it's actually about human manipulation. According to their report, around 80% of cybercrime starts with someone being tricked into clicking, sharing, or signing in. Attackers don't need to break down firewalls anymore. They just need one person in an organization to open the wrong link. PwC's 2024 Global Digital Trust Insights report found that more than half of the organizations in Asia Pacific say their top concern is losing data to the bad guys. And it's not just theoretical. Since 2023, their report says that more than 1 in 3 organizations of all sizes have experienced breaches costing somewhere between 1 million and 20 million US dollars. That is a serious financial hit, especially for SMBs. And then finally, here's what we see. So Microsoft analyzes over 78 trillion with a T security signals and over 600 million cyber attacks every single day. We found that ransomware attacks nearly tripled last year. And it's not just about locking up data anymore. Attackers are now threatening to leak or worse, sell sensitive information, which hits SMBs especially hard. When it comes to running the latest version of Windows, obviously our view is very clear. Delay is not an option at all. Patches don't just fix bugs, they strengthen customer defenses. Every missed update leaves a door open, and attackers nowadays know exactly which doors to try. And for SMBs, staying current isn't just good practice, it's essential protection against ransomware, privilege escalation, and identity theft. What's interesting is that all 4 reports unanimously emphasize update hygiene as a security imperative. They all agree it's the best defense against known vulnerabilities. It's the simplest and yet most often neglected action. Again, we see full alignment on phishing awareness. Every report includes it as a core recommendation. This reinforces the reality that human error, especially in the form of deceptive emails, is still one of the most exploited attack vectors. We may have to explore why PwC have omitted this, but Verizon, Interpol, and Microsoft all include credential protection as a security imperative because it's a proven frontline defense against the most common and damaging cyber attacks. Now, if we look at how those priorities show up in Windows, I think this comparison makes it pretty clear. Windows 11 aligns directly with those imperatives, offering built-in protections that Windows 10 either lacked or required manual setup for. It's a practical example of how policy and technology converge and why upgrading isn't just about features, it's about adopting a more secure default posture. But how is Windows 11 more secure? Well, for one, it's still supported. So every customer will receive security updates if and when new vulnerabilities are found. Also, hardware protections like TPM 2.0, Trusted Platform Module 2.0, and firmware protections like Secure Boot are mandatory for Windows 11. But then there are many software features like enhanced phishing protection with Microsoft Defender Smart Screen, designed to help protect users from phishing attacks by identifying and alerting users when they enter their credentials into a malicious application or hacked website. These innovations build phishing safeguards directly into the platform. The protection is shipped out of the box to help users stay productive and secure. But honestly, I'm only just scratching the surface in terms of covering all the new security innovation designed to combat today's sophisticated attacks. There are a ton of new features that our Windows engineering and product teams are delivering to make Windows 11 the most secure ever. We constantly listen to our customers and we're working to deliver what matters most to them in their environments. Organizations who have migrated to Windows 11 are reporting currently a 62% drop in security incidents. These customers are also reporting massive efficiency benefits, not only saving IT admins time, but also empowering end users to do their best work. For those customers still yet to migrate to Windows 11, as of today, we really see only 4 options. Number 1, do nothing. Hopefully, I've shown you enough today to prove that the risks of this option are very real and not at all recommended. The second option is to pay for Windows 10 Extended Security Updates, or ESU, and there is a link at the top of this box to our blog where you can learn more. ESU is not intended to be a long-term solution, rather a temporary bridge, something just to bide you time until you complete your migration. ESU is nothing more than paying for the continuation of the monthly security patch, Patch Tuesday as it's commonly known out there. ESU does not extend technical support for Windows 10, nor does it give access to any new features or non-security fixes. There's also another consideration if you use Microsoft 365 productivity suite of applications. I'm talking about things like Teams and Outlook and Word and Excel and PowerPoint. These apps are subject to what we call the Microsoft Lifecycle Policy, which means technical support is only given to these apps if they are on a device with a supported operating system, which of course Windows 10 is not anymore. So customers on Windows 10, even with ESU, will not receive any technical support for these applications. A customer seeking tech support for, let's say, Outlook, for example, running on Windows 10, will be directed to upgrade their operating system before we can help in any kind of support capacity. And you can click on that second link in the box to learn more about that specifically. And thirdly, in there, it adds considerable cost. ESU costs $61 per device for that first year. It then doubles in the second year to $122, and then doubles again in the third year to $244 per device. There are certain scenarios where discounts can be applied, but regardless, this is adding cost and likely taking funding away from other important IT projects. The third option is to perform an in-place upgrade for all the Windows 10 devices that do meet the minimum requirements for Windows 11. When we launched Windows 11 in 2021, we set a stringent new hardware baseline, aligning to our principles of security, reliability, compatibility, but also whilst making sure that we're preparing for AI and other modern workloads. The Windows 11 hardware baseline is relatively unknown. Many customers I speak to have never heard of it. Most customers I speak to actually assume that their Windows 10 hardware will just be eligible for an in-place upgrade. Assessing hardware, and that's that first link, is an urgent and critical step to be able to determine which PCs are eligible for in-place upgrade to Windows 11 and which will have to be either replaced or have ESU applied. So that first link shows you, it gives you instructions on how to do that assessment. But even for devices that can upgrade to Windows 11, it's important to consider the potential issues and challenges that come from older hardware. So older devices can result in your users suffering from hardware-related issues such as poor battery life, long boot times, low quality camera, microphone, display. This can all have a significant impact on productivity. Forrester Research conducted a total economic impact report. That's that second link. It shows how the purchase of new Windows 11 PCs will generate a net positive ROI overstretching the life of aged devices. So I really recommend you click on that and check that out. Then Forrester also went one step further. They used the findings in that research to create a calculator for you to work out what you yourself will gain and what costs you will actually save in purchasing new Windows 11 devices. So if you click on that third link, you can actually work out the financial benefit to your business. The fourth, and we believe the best option, is to purchase Windows 11 on new hardware. So new devices will help boost your employees' daily experiences. End users will notice tangible benefits from improved hardware quality like speed and battery life gains. Also, with Windows 11 security mandates such as TPM 2.0 and Secure Boot, then combined with hardware innovations such as presence sensing, Windows Hello for Business, and many others, you'll be setting the best possible security baseline for your organization. And I'm sure if you talk to Lenovo about the new tier of devices with a 40 TOPS neural processing unit, NPU, you'll be future-proofing your organization to execute more and more AI workloads on the device itself. And we call these new devices Copilot Plus PCs. Copilot Plus PCs are the fastest, most secure, and most intelligent PCs ever built. Think of Copilot Plus as a certification. And to obtain that certification, the PC has to be secured core PC with Pluton architecture. And it has to have a minimum of 40 trillion operations per second, or TOPS, of performance from the NPU. Not 40 TOPS combined across CPU, GPU, and NPU as some AI PCs are. 40 TOPS of performance from the NPU alone. And a neural processing unit, or NPU, think of it as a chip built just for handling AI tasks. It performs these tasks faster and more efficiently than a CPU or a GPU can. And the point of it is moving AI workloads from the cloud to the device. And of course, that can deliver many benefits. For example, NPUs reduce latency with the workload being performed locally. NPUs allow many AI tasks to be performed without an internet connection. So AI work can happen anywhere. NPUs can potentially consider the contexts of other tasks. So for example, a device with an NPU and an application written in such a way can consider other open websites or other open applications on the device when performing a task, which would obviously vastly improve the quality of a response. NPUs can lead to a reduction in cloud processing and storage costs. Also, NPUs help Copilot Plus PCs have longer battery life, vastly longer battery life. So employees don't have to keep their devices plugged in all day. This can actually ultimately lead to energy cost savings for your business. Local processing keeps sensitive data on the device, offering organizations greater control how information is handled and supported. This can support compliance with privacy and data governance requirements across a range of regulatory standards, especially in industries where data residency, offline access, or edge autonomy are priorities. On Copilot Plus PCs, that data is protected with BitLocker and Windows Hello with ESS, enhanced sign-in security. Local AI processing reduces the need for extensive data transfer, and that can actually save energy, reducing carbon emissions. So you could potentially leverage Copilot Plus PC to meet your company's sustainability targets as well. Software vendors are leveraging 40 TOPS NPU and improve their end user experiences for AI, but also they're doing it to reduce dependency on infrastructure costs with, the associated with performing those AI tasks in the cloud. Already, Adobe, Zoom, McAfee, and others are releasing updated versions of their applications that leverage the NPU for on-device or hybrid AI. Now, today we don't have time. I'm not going to go into the details of Windows AI Foundry, but developers are using this platform to build and accelerate AI across CPU, NPU, GPU, and the cloud. Copilot Plus PCs give organizations flexibility to tailor AI to your business securely and at scale. And of course, Microsoft is working to light up NPU-powered experiences across many of our products. There is a lot more to come on this. We're actually only at the tip of the iceberg. And actually, we're making some more announcements at our Ignite conference next week, so look out for that. Here's a quick look at some of the Windows features taking advantage of the 40 TOPS NPU on a Copilot Plus PC. Really quickly, I want to address some confusion I hear when I speak to customers about Copilot Plus PCs. The introduction of Copilot Plus PCs has definitely added some complexity to Microsoft's Copilot branding. So some customers mistakenly believe that a Copilot Plus PC is required to use Copilot, while others assume Copilot Plus PCs are redundant because I already have a Microsoft 365 Copilot license. I don't need a Copilot Plus PC. In reality, Copilot is Microsoft's name for a family of AI experiences embedded across our products: Word, Excel, Windows, Azure, GitHub, and security products. These intelligent assistants run on phones, tablets, browsers, desktops, across Windows, iOS, Android, and Mac. Because Microsoft Copilots are cloud-powered, they're accessible from virtually any device with an internet connection, whether it's a Windows 10 PC, Windows 11 PC, Chromebook, MacBook, or iPhone. Copilot Plus PCs, on the other hand, are designed to run AI workloads locally, thanks to that 40 TOPS NPU I spoke about earlier. So Copilot Plus PCs introduce a new paradigm, hybrid AI, that blends cloud scale intelligence with local execution. And the result is not just access to Copilot, but on-device intelligence. So not just cloud-powered, but hybrid AI, local and cloud, not just reactive, but proactive. Features like recall, live captions that you just saw, and enhanced image generation that only work with local processing, not just powerful, but efficient. That NPU that enables low latency, low power AI processing and improves responsiveness and improves battery life. Recent Forrester study of customers who already deployed Copilot Plus PC have found that they maximize ROI by improving efficiency and reducing security incidents and more. So Copilot Plus PCs are the most secure PCs ever. I said that, with Pluton and secured core blocking over 70% of the ways that a PC or data can be targeted. As a result, organizations expect to reduce security incidents by 15%. That same study found that up to 5 hours saved per employee each week due to the benefits of faster content discovery and better workflows. And that improved security and efficiency, along with rapid provisioning and setup, is expected to reduce help desk tickets between 10 and 50%. This is all especially impressive because these findings are actually on top of the benefits these organizations that already gained with their Windows 11 deployment. So if you need to refresh your PCs to migrate to Windows 11, why not ensure you have the very best hardware to suit your needs today and into the future? So with that, thank you very much. I will now pass back over to Rosie.
All right. Thank you, Mitch. So essentially, keeping your Windows updated keeps your systems secure and your SMB more ready to leverage AI and even customize it for their needs. And there is substantial ROI for this. So next up, we're going to hear from Paul Ascaria from AMD on these next generation AI PCs.
Right. Good afternoon. Thank you, Rosie. Let me share my screen. Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can see.
Right. So, yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thanks, Mitch, for the wonderful presentation. So I'm Paul Scurry. I'm based in Singapore as well. So my job is to engage with customers on the technical front and educate them on AMD's value proposition across the region, right? And in this session, we'll touch a little bit more on the Copilot PCs and AI PCs and how AMD is helping transforming customers with our AI PC along with Lenovo, right? Before we go deeper dive, let's play a video and see that.
Paul, we can't seem to hear the audio.
Oh, you can hear the audio?
Can you try resharing again and then include sound?
Right. Yeah, I think I forgot this time. Sorry for that.
Trust has always been at the heart of progress. It's how ideas take flight. That's why, as we advance into the AI future, trust has to lead the way. So yes, we've built a roadmap we deliver on time. We build for the open ecosystem, and we've built the broadest AI portfolio with CPUs, GPUs, and FPGAs. But of all the things we build, trust is the most important.
Right. So again, we all can agree that we are in a really transformational era, right? AI has become mainstream, right? And AI is not new. If you look at AI or machine learning has been around for decades, but what has changed? The two main drivers that make the AI to the mainstream today, that the number one is availability of digital data across all the enterprises, right? So if you look at past couple of decades, there has been an explosion of data that has helped us to create these large language models or small language models that can give much more foundational capabilities and even expertise capabilities in terms of LLMs and SLMs, right? And the second catalyst that drive that is the innovation in the compute space. And AI is especially known for the compute requirements, right? Especially on the accelerated computing GPU, generally known as GPUs, right? But when you try to implement AI in an organization, there is no one size fits all, right? The amount of compute or the type of compute required, whether it be CPUs, GPUs, NPUs, or TPUs, the type and variety of computation required is actually varies across the board, depends on how we are trying to implement, right? And that's where AMD comes in, right? So if you look at AMD is a leader in the high performance computing solution. And it's not just one type of compute, it's across the board, from edge to data center to cloud to client. And many of the enterprises and SMBs are already being used most of the AMD technologies to power the traditional enterprise workloads like our AMD EPYC, right? And for an SMB or enterprise to start building their own AI capabilities or experimenting with their own AI capabilities, they could start by using these. Of course, it may not be as efficient as running on a GPU, but then it has some capability to start with, right? And then once you have that once you're ready to build at scale, then you can look at exploring the GPU option. And then when you have multi GPUs, then networking will become a bottleneck, right? So that's where the Pensando comes in. The Instinct is our data center GPU portfolio, which is available in the data center for on-prem data centers, as well as in the cloud as well, right? And if you're trying to implement at the edge, extreme edge, like IoTs, robotics, or autonomous driving, and that's where the versatile adaptive SoCs comes in. For this session, however, we'll focus more on the Ryzen AI part, which is what is powering the Copilot PCs or the AI PCs in general, right? We see AI PCs has taken over significantly, right? So according to a IDC report, by the end of 2027, we can expect over 200 million commercial AI PCs to have shipped, right? That's a significant growth from where it started in 2023, which was just 5% of all shipments in 2023, right? And by 2027, we can see that it will be over more than half of the total PC shipments will be AI PCs, and probably over 40 tops with Copilot PCs, right? That's a major shift towards intelligent computing, and businesses are heavily investing in the AI-powered solutions like AI PCs. So now, why do you need a powerful AI engine at the edge? I guess Mitch has touched a little bit on this one as well. So again, there are various reasons to it, right? Security and privacy is definitely one of the key reasons that's driving the change. Especially when you're dealing with AI, you're actually dealing with the data, yeah. And many customers are not really comfortable in sharing the personal information or the confidential information sent to cloud and get the response from a LLM or any agent or chatbots, right? So that's why they need to have some capabilities is to run it on-prem so that they feel more confident, right? And then you need a more powerful AI-enabled PCs in order to do that. Latency is definitely one of the other driver, right? Certain applications, especially agentic AI applications or any edge application that needs a faster response time, you will need, again, a more powerful compute at the edge. There are various scenarios where you might want to implement in remote places, right? We have customers like oil rigs or remote solar farms where they may not have a proper internet connection, but they still want to enable AI and take advantage of the AI and have the capability to run AI-enabled applications. In that scenario, also you need to have a very powerful compute at the edge to run your AI workloads. Operational cost is another reason. Even if you are not using your confidential data, you have good internet connection, you are building your applications to fully enabled on the cloud. As you scale your applications or consuming more inferencing APIs, your operational cost can go significantly higher, right? And a hybrid approach, or you can move some of those through the local, will help you to optimize your operational cost as you adopt your AI-enabled applications for your enterprise or SMBs, right? So these are some of the reasons why we need a AI-enabled PC or powerful edge computing for your organization, right? Now, what makes a PC an AI PC, right? So traditionally, we have this CPU. CPUs are general purpose compute engine, right? It's good at multitasking and processing a lot of general purpose applications, right? Then for graphics enhancement or to have a better visual display on the graphics, we have added GPUs or graphics processing units, right? So GPUs are traditionally meant for graphics display, computations, but the AI is using similar computations, or from a computation point of view, the metric multiplication is similar to what graphics processing is using. So that's where the GPUs in the data centers have become more popular. It's not to process the pixels, but to process the matrix multiplications, right? That the AI requires. But in an edge device, you'll have this. You need to have this. Especially in the PCs, you have this display also need to be processed, right? So you can run some of the AI also there, but then if you want to run it more efficiently, you need to have a bit more specialized computing, right? That especially focused on running your AI workloads, and that's where the NPUs comes in, right? Just to process that solely that AI workloads much more efficiently, right? So the modern day Ryzen AI chips will have 3 compute engines within a single chip, right? The CPUs, the GPUs, and the NPUs, right? And you can see that the third generation XDNA2 version can go more than 50 TOPS, way above what a Copilot PC is required for, right? Which is 40 TOPS, right? So it's a very powerful compute on your hands to run your everyday applications, plus better graphic experience, plus better AI experience, right? That's what Ryzen AI brings into our customers. Now, definitely not everyone wants that powerful. They want to have that. There is no one size fits all, right? There are more power users than there are mainstream users. So they want to have some flexibility in terms of capabilities, right? So again, there are Max Pro series, there is Pro 300 series and Pro 200 series. So there are various choices it depends on your, customers' wants, and you can adopt it to your organization, right? From 16 TOPS to all the way up to 50 TOPS, right? The top end Max Pro series will have even more flexibility in terms of, you can allocate the dedicated memory of up to 96 GB to the GPU, right? Which means that it will be able to allow you to run some of the bigger models, right? You can think of, Gemma 120 billion parameter model in a local client PC, local AI PC, which is significant capabilities if you think about it, right? So it's really a great platform even for high-end developers or even running your high-end AI applications as well. Now we have seen a broad range of applications or use cases, arise from the AI revolution, right? So Copilot is a great example of what we can do with AI in the enterprise space, right? Of course, there are beyond Copilot, there are ISVs also enabling AI into their regular workflows, right? So even if you are not specifically using the AI, many of these ISVs or applications are infused AI in many of the workflows, which is taking advantage of this NPUs and other capabilities within the compute itself, right? That's why you've seen the adoption of AI PCs is growing significantly to incorporate all these capabilities within the edge device itself, right? Of course, Copilot is the most heavy user of NPUs, right? And which has found even more capabilities that is enabled for NPUs, right? Within the Copilot ecosystem itself. And again, that all need more than 40 TOPS, which Ryzen AI is providing to our customers. So so where do we go from here, right? So we have seen a slew of applications emerge in the first wave, right? So what we are seeing, AI is really continue to evolve at a very, very fast pace. And at AMD, we are seeing three major trends. One is the customization, right? So users will train the open source AI model. They tailor it to meet their own exact needs, running them more efficiently to achieve even better results, right? So it gives them much more flexibility if you can run it in a local PC. And agentic AI is taking mainstream, as Mitch shown in the video. PC will learn your habits, your preferences, and day-to-day workflow to become more proactive and genuine collaborators for your everyday work. And then the models are also getting more and more smarter, right? There are various advanced reasoning models comes in which can detect mistakes in real time, refine responses. It can do a lot more capabilities than the models of today. So all this means more and more computation power, right? And again, Windows AI Foundry, which touch a little bit on this as well. Again, AMD, the XDNA and RDNA NPU and the GPU are fully supported on the Windows AI Foundry. If you want to run some of the models, develop it locally, you can choose which compute you want to run your AI models to make it much more power efficient and compute efficient when you develop your applications. Now, every organization will have a variety of users, right? Not everybody is a developer, right? Of course, the developer or the technical expert would be the most heavy user of these computational capabilities, right? Because they push the system to the limit. But not everybody needs that capabilities, right? There will be different personas for different users. For some, battery life is more important. For the multitasking is more important. And that's where, again, various SKUs of AMD CPU, Ryzen AI CPUs comes in, including the desktop series, the Ryzen AI 7, 5, 3. So there are various SKUs available, the regular AI PC as well as Copilot certified PCs, which is more than 50 TOPS, right? On the mainstream segment as well as the premium segment as well. On the high end, you get Ryzen AI Max with the workstation in a mobile platform, which is the most powerful platform you can get with the Ryzen AI Max, right? And Lenovo again is a great partner. We work closely with Lenovo to enable these experiences in their entire portfolio, from not just on the PC side, but on the data center side as well. So we have a broad range of portfolio from the edge device to PCs to data center, all the way to the cloud, right? So it's a great partner with the broad range of ecosystem enabled with AMD. And to summarize, AMD again has a broadest portfolio of processors, platforms, and an open ecosystem. I didn't touch much on the AMD software ecosystem, but anything that AMD builds in terms of hardware and software, we embrace the open ecosystem so that it is easy for customers to adopt and navigate as as it changes, because AI is very fast moving, right? And enterprises can deploy and optimize the AI workloads in the edge with the performance, cost, and security benefits they need. And of course, developers can get really amazing performance with the edge AI inference and the local AI developments that help them code faster and even more secure. With that, I'll hand over back. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Paul. And now that we know what makes a PC an AI PC and how it can tailor experiences for users from creativity to security, we can get right into our panel discussion, scaling AI adoption and workflows for SMEs. So you've already met Mitch from Microsoft and Paul from AMD. Now we also have Kisan Lin, the co-founder and CEO of Tanka.
Hi, nice to meet you, everyone. Thanks for inviting me to this panel.
And we also have Kenny Yi, head of AI and transformation from MyRepublic.
Hi, everyone. Glad to be here. Looking forward to the discussions.
All right. So I'll get right into our first question. So from your perspective, where are SMBs seeing the biggest wins in AI adoption right now? Let's go with Mitch first.
Oh, I nearly forgot to unmute. Classic Teams mistake. Thanks, Rosie. Yeah, I think, you know what, actually, Madeline touched on this right at the beginning in her introduction. You know, the biggest wins are showing up where AI acts as a capacity multiplier, like helping the small teams sort of punch above their weight without, you know, overhauling everything at once. So, you know, we at Microsoft, we publish a report every year. We call it the Work Trend Index. And this year's report actually obviously focuses a lot on AI adoption. It also focuses a lot on what SMBs are telling us. So, you know, SMBs tend to be overwhelmed. 68% of the employees struggle with the pace and the volume of work. And then on the flip side, you've got leaders saying that productivity must rise, but time and energy are in short supply. So sort of AI steps in to reduce that digital debt. You know, with tools like Microsoft 365 Copilot, again, that's on any PC, that can run on any PC, even Mac, which we don't love, but yes, it works on everything. SMBs can reclaim their time. You know, they can do really great things like summarize meetings and emails instantly. They can draft documents and presentations with a really simple sort of prompt. They can even use natural language to analyze data in Excel. You know, that impact is quite measurable. You know, it's generating quite great ROI for customers, and you know, the companies that are surveying are really getting in and seeing great value from their investments. And then, yeah, you can start to see even independent studies like Forrester. Again, they talk about, you know, faster onboarding for new employees using AI. You know, faster time to market for new products, 6% increase, I think, from memory, on net revenue was one of their call outs. They had a bunch of stats that I'm struggling to remember, but yes, essentially they were also calling out that SMBs are seeing huge uplift from it. I suppose what's exciting is that the democratization of artificial intelligence is what we're seeing. So SMBs now have sort of access to expert level reasoning and planning tools without needing that sort of large IT infrastructure. It's a bit of a game changer.
Right. Let's hear from the SMB side. Kisan, what do you think? Where are SMB seeing the biggest wins in AI adoption?
Yeah, sure. I think the biggest win for now is the workflow triage, because AI is unlike the internet era or any SaaS tools that we have built before. I don't see it as a tool. I see it as a digital workforce. It's getting more autonomy. It's getting more capabilities to run things on its own. And also, when AI understands all the context and understands how people make decisions in certain companies, like different companies make decisions in different ways. When AI understands all that and has all the information that you have access to, AI can also be a very good decision-making companion as well. So from workforce to decision-making companion to directly taking actions in we're talking about agent. There are a lot of things that AI can do, and we know the problems SMBs face right now. For instance, in small businesses, people have to put on different hats, especially founders. We're talking about founder mode. We have only a few product managers. We have only a few engineers. We have fewer workforce than the large companies. And how do SMBs manage as much work as possible with this little workforce? AI is a great a great add-on. And another problem that SMBs usually face is very high turnover and lack of the supporting functions to help people on board, new people on board. So when SMBs expand fast, there are a lot of people coming on board, but SMBs also move very fast. So usually what you face is when people come on board, your onboarding document is already outdated and you don't have the HR department to help them on board. And so AI can also help getting new people on board and helping employees transfer knowledge and transfer contexts amongst them. So I would say workforce triage and also, for instance, like auto replying to emails, summarizing threads, drafting business proposals, sorting leads. Those are the typical repetitive workflow. And knowledge transfer from one employee to another, onboarding new employees, and helping people translate context across the organizations and keeping the context, keeping everyone with the same information, same context, and helping people make decisions. Those are the things that SMB can truly gain value. And I realized that I haven't introduced Tanka. So Tanka is basically a Slack plus Glean plus Manus for startups, for SMBs. So we combine Business Messenger together with an internal search engine to search across your internal knowledge base, and some agent workflow. For instance, you can generate business plans, pitch decks, prototype on the web on Tanka platform. And the good thing about Tanka is it has the memory across all your knowledge base. So the memory is auto updated. So you don't have to update anything. You just plug in the tools and it automatically extracts the right information and structures into AI memory. So you can find the right information accurately. And also you can, when you do auto reply to your emails or Slack messages, the AI has the memory, so the reply is pretty accurate. And when you generate pitch decks, when you do repetitive tasks, sending emails to your clients, there's the right information, the right context as well. So I think those are the things that SMBs can truly gain value.
Right, so it's pretty clear that AI does help SMBs, and it's not just because it takes over some of these things, especially with a high turnover rate, right? So knowledge sharing and building that it sort of becomes like an institutional memory for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So now that we know a bit about these benefits, what are the common challenges or misconceptions that hold companies back from scaling their AI? Paul, let's start with you.
Oh, sure. Thanks for the question. So, so I talk to SMBs and customers every now and then, right? One of the common misconceptions I hear is because they see all the news, AI is synonymously known for the GPUs and then the huge investments that needed, right? But if you think about it, you don't need to start big. You can always start small with whatever compute capability you have. The important thing is to get started, right? You need to get used to the technology. You need to build your workforce around it. If you haven't already started, then once your workforce are familiar with it, then the applications or the applications will emerge out of that, right? Many customers that I talk are still thinking of what ROI is there, what are the killer app that I can use the AI for. But again, if you think about AI is just an enabler of the next generation of applications, right? We have gone through this cycle when the internet comes in, we have whole ecosystem around the internet as a technology, right? Then the mobile revolution, we have seen Play Store and App Store and others that enables other mobile enabled applications around it, right? And same for cloud as well, right? Now in the AI era, we'll see next generations of applications emerging out of the AI with AI as an enabler. So it's important for the SMBs to get started somewhere with a small capacity, right? And again, AI PCs may be a great way to get started there, right? And then as you go, you can slowly scale from there to big data center, big GPUs, or even the cloud. So there's a pathway to start small and scale as you go. But the most important is to get started, right?
What about Kenny? How about your experience? What are the things that typically hold SMBs back from getting into AI?
Just before I answer that question, I'd like to actually share a bit of background around My Republic. So I think for My Republic, you know, a lot of businesses and users within Singapore actually know My Republic is an internet service provider. But not many people know that we do actually support businesses, particularly SMEs, around not just broadband services, but also ICT services. I think very recently we started embarking on AI. Like many other companies that deep dived into AI, since the explosion of ChatGPT. Right. And from there, my MD and Chief AI Officer, Lawrence, really wanted to look at establishing a team to look at how ourselves as an SME is able to consume and leverage AI services ourselves and potentially share the kind of experience and solutions to external customers as well. So it started a lot of incoming AI projects from the internal teams loading on to my team. But what often is being looked at is, hey, is your project really looking at AI-enabled solutions, or is it actually just automation? So I think that's somewhat very relevant to a lot of the customer conversations I'm having today as well. They are confusing AI and automation, where it's not exclusive, but I would say they are fundamentally different things. You can have automations powered by AI agents, but they are not. AI is definitely doesn't equate to automation. So I think that's one of the very common misconceptions out there. And then the second thing, I think, alluding to what Mitch mentioned earlier around democratizing AI across the masses, and that's really where the second misconception is around, cutting edge technologies is out of touch to smaller businesses and SMBs, where it's perceived as expensive. It's actually not true. There are a lot of open source technologies out there that is powered by AI that actually is widely adopted by businesses and startups that are open source and can be self-hosted. So I guess that's the two key misconceptions across businesses that is important to highlight.
All right. I'm just going to ask Mitch very quickly, from your view, from an enterprise point of view, what are some things that you've seen?
Really quickly before I answer that, everyone's doing such a great job talking to their areas of expertise. It's amazing. It's such a great conversation. I have noticed no one's put any questions in. That's probably because everyone's doing such a great job. But yeah, the Q&A, I'd love to see some questions in there. Yeah, Rosie, what we see kind of four main challenges or blockers when it comes to, companies really deploying and scaling AI. One is around data governance and oversharing risks. So, Copilot doesn't override permissions. It uses Microsoft Graph to surface only what users already have access to. But visibility changes everything. You know, a salesperson stumbling across payroll data isn't great. It's not a Copilot failure. It's a governance gap that was kind of always there, and basically Copilot just kind of brings it a little bit more to the surface. So, you know, a lot of organizations don't have great data governance. Of course, there are ways to mitigate that, sensitivity labels, DLP policies, and then, you know, I think every organization should routinely go around and clean up stale permissions and do access reviews. But those sorts of things can be quite problematic. Second, a lot of companies don't have clear AI governance framework. So, you know, they haven't defined necessarily what responsible AI and responsible use policies are. They haven't defined legal boundaries or compliance guardrails for AI. And then sort of without those clear frameworks, AI adoption sort of risks drifting into what we call shadow IT, or, you know, potentially, you know, regulatory grey zones, which again, for companies that have certain, belong to certain industries, that can really be quite problematic. The third's around change management and user readiness. So AI, a lot of the time, isn't sort of plug and play. Without pilot groups, testing, phased rollout, user education, adoption can stall. Like bad word of mouth through an organization, people saying, it's not really adding a lot of value. That kind of sentiment can spread fast. And then also with that, employees sometimes may fear that their job is at risk, the job displacement. You know, potential result of good AI adoption is that I'm out of a job. Well, then, you know, good leaders need to communicate sort of AI's role as that sort of productivity partner. And then the last one, cross cloud complexity. That's hard to say. You know, as AI tools can span across different clouds, you know, sort of new challenges can emerge there around latency and egress cost, you know, data residency concerns and stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of different things that organizations need to be thinking about when, you know, when they're scaling AI out with confidence.
All right. So something I want to pick up on, all of you mentioned that one of the big misconceptions is big investments. So there has been a democratization of AI. It doesn't necessarily need to be expensive. There are open source options, and you can start small. So how can SMB leaders identify the best areas in their workflow to start applying AI without overhauling everything at once? Kisan, let's start with you here.
Sure, thanks. I think given that today's AI is very good at learning from few examples, and also very good at understanding the broad context and doing search within your database with RAG, and also externally. So and also generating text, generating codes. There are a few areas where AI can be really helpful. One is text-heavy work, including code-heavy work. And we're already seeing a lot of companies using AI to write social media posts, write blogs, doing SEO, and also writing emails and outreach messages to the clients. So text-heavy work, and including in law firms, legal firms, or consultancy firms, they need to do a lot of heavy text-heavy work, and those had already been automated by AI. We're seeing a lot of people using AI to make their work way much more efficient. And another thing is code-heavy work. No matter if it's Cursor or Codex or Claude itself, or a lot of vibe coding tools, we're seeing more and more companies building things with vibe coding, and a lot of individuals using vibe coding to build products and launch to the market and become SMBs. So those are the first areas where we're seeing a lot of value. And two is repetitive work. Given that AI is very good at learning from few examples, when you have repetitive work, you just have to show to the AI a few examples and do it automation. And AI can help you finalize, just finish a lot of repetitive work. So on Tenka, we're seeing a lot of SMBs using Tenka to, they just plug in their tools, and Tenka can automatically extract the follow-up lists from all your emails, messages, your Notion documents, your meeting notes, and from all your chat history and documents as well. Tenka can also extract your weekly report. So this is very basic workflow that every business or every individual would face every day. tracking your to-do lists, and then tracking what you have done this week, and sharing your weekly report to your manager, to your colleagues. And this has already been automated with our AI. Another repetitive work is basically from client feedback to product prototype. So we receive a lot of client feedback through emails or through messages every single day, and there are always some operational guy out there trying to summarize all the client feedback, and then some product people will take it over to write product prototype with the feedback, and then share those product prototype with the design team, and then with tech team. So we automate this whole repetitive process through you plugging in all your communication tools, and you can just set up this workflow where AI can automatically summarize all the client feedback, and also it understands what your company is building, and so it will generate client product prototype automatically. So the product manager will just take the product prototype and export it to Figma, and then they can start working on the prototype. So the work become way much more efficient. We cut more than 50% of the time in this repetitive workflow. And because it's repetitive, you actually have to repeat this task multiple times a day. So think about like each time you cut off 50% of your time, and that's a lot of time saved. A third area we're seeing a lot of value is work that requires remembering past info. For instance, asking your AI, hey, how much marketing budget have we spent the last quarter? Traditionally, you as a marketing manager has to ask different colleagues, some responsible for influencer marketing, some responsible for running ads, and then you summarize all the budget spent. And nowadays, when people have AI automatically extracts all the context, including the spending from your Google document tracked. And so AI can directly answer this question, and you can even build an automated dashboard, marketing spend dashboard, revenue dashboard with AI. So that also increases your productivity by a lot.
And the longer you use it, the better it gets because it builds on the past information that you have.
Yes, exactly. It has better memory than myself.
Anybody want to add to that?
Yeah, I can. It's a lot of what Kizan said, spot on. We agree completely. I think it's not about a system overhaul. It's sort of tackling those tasks that drain your team's time and energy is where you sort of want to focus your initial thoughts around AI. So, starting with high frequency, low value sort of tasks, definitely small groups to, an expanding ring, just like you would any software deployment. You want to test and trial before you go too broad. We love it and think that there's a lot of benefit in using familiar tools. So applying AI inside Microsoft 365 apps like, Word, Excel, Teams, etc. No need to necessarily rip and replace, just layer intelligence into what's already working. And then, I guess as an extension to that, we have what's called the Copilot scenario library. Sort of, it's like Microsoft offers like a curated set of examples across sales, marketing, finance, operations roles, and they help sort of SMBs match AI capabilities to business needs. So that's where we would sort of suggest people start with their start applying AI in their business.
All right. So I have a question. My next question, I want to ask Kenny this one. Once companies experiment with AI tools, what's the next step to embed them across teams or departments?
Yep, sure. So I think what's very important is once companies start experimenting with AI tools, would the tools actually be useful to be put across the different teams or departments, or would the tools be used more for solving a particular problem? So in my Republic, and this is something very recently launched within my Republic. We've launched this in September. Is something called AI Automation Box. it's a all-in-one GPU server that includes workflow automation templates that is no code, low code. So it's an orchestrator where you can actually drag and drop nodes to create a workflow customized to your business. We've also included within the GPU server itself large language models that are open source. We've also included automation templates so that you'll be able to plug and play templates that is already prefabricated that you just need to modify to amend it for your use case. So things like that is highly relevant to allow teams and businesses to look at a standard template or a standard automation workflow template that you can easily plug and play and apply it across your business or departments. So that's something that we've enabled businesses to help them with this AI journey. I think that is something really powerful to be able to help businesses that allows sharing of that workflow across different teams. So not just building something relevant to when you start to experiment relevant to only a certain department, but making sure that it's not just solving for certain problems, but making sure that you have the access to tools, templates that can be applied across different teams and departments.
All right. Kisan, how about you? In your experience, how does it go? How do you get them to really use AI?
I think one of the strategies that we take is by building something that's more general, that's applicable to everyone first. So for instance, the workflow that I mentioned, extracting your to-do list and extracting your everyday or weekly work report. That workflow simply applies to everyone, including the founder and including the product manager and marketing manager, and that's easier for the whole company to adopt. And also another thing that we found useful was to find some champions, and usually the founders or the decision makers in SMB teams or in SMB companies could be great champion if there are some products or some features that they found useful. It will also be faster for them to adopt across the whole organization. And what are the features that they would find useful? Well, as SMB managers or decision makers, they would like to know what's the sentiment about going on in the company. They would like to know, how do I find new clients? How do I raise more funds? And they would like to know what's the financial situation in the company. So those are the basic demands of the founders. And amongst those demands, there are certain demands that are not only strong needs for the founders, but also can be easily scaled to the rest of the team. For instance, understanding what's going on in the company, in terms of the performance, the sentiment. So AI can actually play a very good role in that. We have some dashboards where managers or founders can see their people's growth, the team's growth in terms of their capability, and who has been helping others, and who probably needs some help, who has been working super hard, stuff like that. And when they can see such dashboards, such performance indicator, they will take actions more easily and way much more in time. So that will prevent a lot of loss in their workforce, and it will improve the workforce motivation. And that doesn't only apply to the founders, but also apply to managers in every team. And another feature that we found is useful is basically the memory or knowledge transfer from one employee to another, because founders usually care about onboarding new employees as that, but managers also care about that. So find the things that decision makers would care about a lot, but also can be easily scaled to the rest of the team, and in that way you basically can scale to the whole company way much more easier, and then find the decision maker as your champions.
Right. So Kisan mentioned champions. I'd like to ask Paul and Mitch. You work with a lot of companies. Who do you see usually? Is it always the founder who becomes the champion for AI, or is there somebody else in the organization? And what role do they play?
Do you want me to go? If I can go first, sure. I mean, yeah, Kisan just touched on it a lot. I think the leader in an organization, the way they show up, it determines whether the employees will trust AI or fear it. They have to model curiosity over certainty. Leaders don't necessarily know all the answer. They don't have all the information or know all the answers. They just have to ask the right questions. They have to, figure out how they can align AI with purpose. Connect AI to clear business outcomes and employee value. They have to create a space of psychological safety. Employees need to feel safe experimenting with AI tools and again, not think that somehow the more successful they are with AI usage, their job is somehow less safe. And then, they need to champion that inclusive enablement. So enablement is key, ensuring AI training is accessible, inclusive, and sort of role specific. So, that again, they probably have to just make it super clear that AI is a strategic partner, not a replacement. They need to help teams understand how to collaborate with AI, not sort of compete against it.
Right, Paul, would you like to add?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything specific to add, but I have seen both plays an important role, right? The founders as well as the users are championing that, because oftentimes those at the ground level will be the ones start to experiment first, right? And then once they realize the value, it can be brought forward as well. So I've seen both sides embracing AI at the first place. Yeah.
Right now, so something that I know most of our audience is wondering, and I want to keep it short because we don't have a lot of time, but I want to go around the room and ask you, how do you know if it's working? Like, how do you know that your implementation of AI is working? Let's start with Kenny.
Yep, sure. So I think how to actually look at whether your AI implementation or your AI project is actually working, it really boils down to what sort of success factors would you be looking at when you embark on a certain AI project? What kind of key performance indicators would be most concerning to the project sponsor? That I think is definitely key, because ultimately it is the project sponsor, the leader, who is driving the direction and the outcome that the project needs to hit. That certainly is first and foremost. And then I think in terms of looking at some of the challenges in the AI project as well is also key, to make sure that these are accounted for during sizing of the project. But certainly, for MyRepublic, we've embarked on many internal AI projects. And one of the interesting projects that we've seen is to actually try to build, use agentic AI actually, to try to drive how we can make our sales team more efficient, to look at how we are able to actually process cold leads massively and rapidly, that really augments the human process of and the traditional way of human processing such cold leads. So when we embarked on that specific project, we really sat down with the sales team to look at what are the challenges they're facing, what the current process looks like, and how do we embed agentic AI within the whole process. Coupling together with open source tools out there, we've managed to actually embed AI agents that actually does research on cold leads, does assignments, does ranking, does product matches, does generation of the pitch to the lead, and ultimately sending out first email outreach to the lead itself. And that massively generated KPIs of never seen before numbers, where although there is smaller success for cold lead outreach, but we've augmented, smaller sales team like ourselves to massively gain that outreach, right? And in fact, this is something we've presented as part of our participation in the recent Meta Llama program, that we've actually won came out of the program as a winner. That's one of the world first Llama incubator programs globally. So really privileged to have won that, and really showcased how agentic AI systems can actually drive measurable outcomes like outreach, increased success from AI projects.
Right. Just very quickly, Kisan, what do you think? How do you know if your plan is working for AI?
Yeah, I agree with what Kenny mentioned. The success metrics, and one thing that I would like to add on is, although there are a lot of AI tools out there already performing really, really good job, and if you look at each individual AI tool, all of them are saving a lot of time for users, for customers. But that said, from the customer's perspective, what they do care about is not only how much time it has saved for my team, but also what's the ROI if I employ this AI tool as compared to having the existing workflow. The potential cost for the team is the adoption itself takes some time for the team to be trained, to learn, and also sometimes we have to take into consideration the token cost, because a lot of AI tools still employ quite high token cost. So just to give you an example, earlier this year we were evaluating whether to employ a AI test manager. When we launch applications, when we launch products, we need to do internal testing before launching it out, so that to test if there are any bugs, if things are working well. So we have a few employees working on that, working on the testing, and there is AI tools right now automating the testing for bug testing and stuff for teams. It sounds really, really nice, but actually the token cost for performing such tool is still very high, because for each bug, for each feature or process, we have to run a specific separate workflow, because today's AI agents are not that smart smart in general at the same time. They're smart, or they're general. They cannot be at the same time. So once we have to test for each test round we run, there's hundreds of features that we need to test, and the overall cost for each round of test is basically a few thousand Sing dollars or US dollars at least. And if you take into consideration the deployment rate that we're launching the product, we're launching a new version every single week, and so the cost of employing that tool becomes super high. So of course, yes, it saves us a lot of time, but the cost, taking into consideration the token cost, is still quite high. And we decided to put it on hold just because of that reason.
I'm going to change the question a bit for Mitch, since Kisan and Kenny already covered most of it. Mitch, how long does it take for an organization to see results?
I forgot to come off mute again. Goodness me. It's like my first ever Teams call. 21 years at Microsoft. It's like I'm new to Microsoft. Wow. I mean, that's a difficult question to answer, to be honest, Rosie. How long is a piece of string? I think it can vary. It can definitely be seen quickly. Like I think if an organization is looking at tangible metrics, time saved on repetitive tasks like email drafting or meeting summaries or whatever, and then multiplying that out by how many emails an employer would use or how many meetings they've gone and tried to summarize, well, then that's pretty quick to actually generate an ROI and start to understand what kind of benefits you're getting. Other things like tracking employee satisfaction, a team's less burned out and more engaged. Tracking customer responsiveness, are inquiries resolved faster or more accurately? Are there reductions in operation costs through fewer manual errors or less admin overhaul? Overhead. They take longer to calculate. So for an organisation to start seeing a tangible, valuable return on investment in dollar terms for those sorts of metrics certainly would take longer. But a lot of the data suggests that an organisation will see positive ROI from investing in AI. It's just a matter of how it affects different individual workers.
Right. So just to wrap up this section of our conversation, this one I want to ask Paul. Now that we've had an overview of how to scale it, what workflows, I want to ask you, what are the productivity tools that SMBs should keep an eye on, whether it's like PC, software, hardware? Can you give us a few your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so of course, you can start with what are the tools you have, right? When you start small, the challenge is you have to think over long term, right? And you build a prototype, and when you want to scale, you want to see how you scale from that. So when you choose a technology, you might want to choose something that is scalable, able to scale from where you start today, and then should be able to pivot. So let's say if you are building on some novel architecture, then there is no follow-up, or there is not available in the cloud or not available in the data center. How are you going to scale that, right? So that's something you want to keep in mind when you start choosing a technology. And then AI, from a software point of view, AI is moving very fast in terms of new innovations and things like that, right? Again, it goes into the software spectrum as well. You need to have as much flexibility as possible when you navigate around or pivot around as you move forward. That's anything that is open standard or open technologies will give you that flexibility in terms of navigating as you scale. So those are some of the things probably you might want to take into consideration when you start itself.
So there are actually a bunch of questions in our Q&A box. I'm gonna let's take a few now. This is a good one because this relates to everybody, I think. What are common mistakes SMEs make when scaling AI adoption, and how can we avoid them?
I literally just hit submit and typed an answer in that. So I can read that if you like. But yeah, it's very much around the amplification of the blockers that we talked about earlier. So it can highlight poor data governance, it can create oversharing, and again that negative word of mouth stuff. A lot of the time, the leadership of an organization or the IT department of an organization, they won't necessarily hear that bad word of mouth spreading throughout the organization. It'll be the water cooler chat or the employee to employee conversation about how bad this whole AI thing is, and you really don't want that. So we think at Microsoft, we think that, like I said before, sort of rolling out AI, expanding ring type of approach rather than just hitting everybody at once. Make sure that you've ironed out a lot of those bugs before broadly exposing your employees to it.
Right. I have some questions here that are related. So how can companies ensure that AI tools are secure? This relates to the information you give the software. And there's a question specific here to intellectual property. How do you protect that information and make sure that it's used appropriately? Who wants to take this question? Maybe Kenny wants to take this question?
Yep, sure. So I think in terms of data privacy and security, and that's why when we looked at a solution to solve that problem, the AI automation box that MyRepublic launched really is a on-premise GPU server that is housed in your office behind your security measures that really takes care of looking over such concerns around data privacy, right? Because eventually you are the one who control the data, what goes in, what comes out. With that said, the AI automation box on-premise GPUs to actually drive a lot of the AI processing really helps with cost concerns as well, where I think Kisan earlier talked about token cost. That concept really is driven heavily by a lot of the cloud players out there like AWS, Azure, and Google. But if you look at open source LLMs out there that you can host it, and it's quite common to see self-hosted LLMs out there as well, that it doesn't have such a concept. So it actually takes away the concern about cost, how often you use LLMs to actually drive your AI solutions. So we've made sure that, aside from security, cost is also covered by having some of the latest open source models of LLMs out there within our AI automation box, but also including, some of the automation templates so you don't reinvent the wheel, because a lot of those templates we are using internally, and to make sure that, we also provide education through self-paced learning videos that we offer all within the same offering as well. So that really what our aim is, to try to get SMEs really quick start into AI in their AI journey, to really help them along the way, because I think too often it's a segment that's overlooked, where a lot of the enterprises are driving AI adoption, but not much is said about the SME.
All right. And looking at the rest of the questions, I'm happy to share that we've actually covered most of the topics here. So thank you to everyone who sent in their questions, and a big thank you to our speakers, Mitch Smith from Microsoft, Paul Scaria from AMD, Kisan Lin from Tanka, and Kenny Yee from MyRepublic. So once again, well, if you're wondering how to take the next step in bringing these AI-driven efficiencies to your own business, Madeline from Lenovo is here to share a quick introduction to Lenovo Pro and how it can help your team work smarter.
Thanks, Rosie, and thanks so much, everyone. I hope we're all enjoying today's session and getting some good ideas on how AI can make work a little easier and a bit more productive. Now, I just want to take a few minutes to talk about something that Lenovo has been driving, which is Lenovo Pro. Whether you're running or managing a growing business, you probably know it's challenging to juggle everything, like finding the right tech, keeping up with the new products, managing costs, and focusing on your customers all at the same time, right? And that is why we built Lenovo Pro. So we want to make your tech journey easy, and to help you get all the tools, support, and savings that you need all in one place. So why Lenovo Pro? Let me break it down. First, you get early access to latest product. You get early access to the latest product launches, exclusive deals. That means you're always going to be in the loop. You'll hear about latest devices, what's new, and what innovations actually come in on Lenovo.com before anybody else. And you get first dibs on great offers that we're launching on site. Next up, you actually get dedicated one-on-one support when you need it. There's no chatbots, no waiting. You get real people who understand business and who are well versed in tech, who can help you get what you need exactly. And because we want to welcome you, we do have welcome offers of 6% welcome discount and a 2x loyalty rewards bonus on sign up, as well as additional discounts, benefits. So we do have 3 tiers. We can just move to the next slide. So when you sign up as our member, you start Pro, and you get instant savings up to additional 3%. It's a free membership with no minimum purchase required. Now, as your business grows, Lenovo Pros, we want to grow with you. We want to grow with your business. And on top of PCs, we've actually also got accessories, monitors. We've also got services that are available, some of which Mitch has also touched on, on Microsoft. We do have that on our platform as well. And as your annual spend grows, your membership tier moves up and your discounts also increase. So as your business scales up, basically your savings and your rewards scale along with you as well. And the best thing is you can do everything online because we are an online platform, Lenovo.com. If you need a quick quote, you can actually get a quote straight from Lenovo.com via Lenovo Pro. So businesses are basically the heartbeat of innovation, and Lenovo Pro is here to back you up every step of the way with smarter tech from Lenovo, personal support, and genuine value that grows with your business. So if you have not joined yet, I really encourage you to check out Lenovo Pro on Lenovo.com. It's free to sign up. And, I'm just going to float it out here again. You instantly get access to exclusive offers and also a 6% welcome discount to get you started. Yeah. So, I think, Rosie, we're good here. We can actually move off to the breakout rooms, where I have a team standing by in case you have any questions about tech, about Lenovo Pro. We're also excited to share some offers just for webinar attendees and registrants. Yeah, so back to you, Rosie.
All right, just before everybody goes, let's take a photo. All right, 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you so much. And like Madeline said, we've got something special for the attendees today. So the Lenovo team is ready and waiting in the breakout room. So I'm gonna let you go, and please take some time to meet each other and network there. All right, that's it for today. Hope you had a great time learning about tools for SMBs in your breakout rooms. We hope you had. We hope you're leaving with fresh ideas on how to bring AI-driven productivity into your everyday work. So, on behalf of Lenovo, AMD, Microsoft, and E27, thank you for joining AI Copilot in Action: Faster Workflows for SMB Teams. Have a great day, everyone.